Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with JediInsider.com, your #1 news source for everything Star Wars. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new S.H.Figuarts Luke Skywalker figure from Tamashii Nations in Bandai. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've seen with the other Star Wars S.H.Figuarts, a very sleek window box type design, black packaging, and then you've got these kind of silver highlights around the window, and you've got the name of the character down below. On the sides you have an image of the figure, and the other side you just have some silver border, and then on the back we have images of the figure and the accessories and some language I can't really read. Okay, so let's get this figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. So the figure comes with a number of accessories. It comes with 3 different heads, it comes with 3 different pairs of hands, and then it has his lightsaber, the hilt, and the blade. So first of all, the first head we'll look at is it comes with a helmetless Darth Vader head. So I'm not exactly sure why we're getting this head with the Luke Skywalker figure as opposed to why we didn't get it with the Darth Vader figure. But the detailing on this is really nice. I like the sculpting detail. I like the paint applications with the scarring on his head and everything. So I think that came out looking really good. So this, I really like this head, and it looks nice. The only problem is if you don't have the S.H.Figuarts Darth Vader, it's kind of pointless. But if you do have that S.H.Figuarts Vader, you can just pop the head off and then pop this helmetless head on, so you can recreate the scenes from the end of Return of the Jedi. And it fits on there nice and tight. So the other 2 heads are Luke Skywalker heads. Now the one that comes on the figure is just kind of just a regular head sculpt. Now my problem I have with this, the likeness is not dead on to Mark Hamill, but it's certainly, I think, better than the Hasbro one as far as the face sculpt goes. I think they did a better job of capturing Mark Hamill's overall look. However, what I don't like about this head sculpt is the hair, the paint that they've used for the hair is gold, basically. It's a metallic, almost gold. It's got some washwork in it and everything, but it definitely kind of glistens. It looks like he's got gold hair. Not blonde hair, but actual gold hair. So I don't know why they did that, why they used almost a metallic kind of goldish paint for the hair, but it kind of looks funny, especially when you get it in the light. Otherwise, like I said, the head sculpt is pretty good. The detailing on the face, the paint applications and everything, I think are good. Not 100% to Mark Hamill, but again, better than like Hasbro's 6-inch Black Series figure. So the second Luke Skywalker head is made to look like his hair is blowing, kind of like in the beginning of Return of the Jedi when he's on Jabba's skiff. Now, I don't really like this head sculpt at all. Not only does it have the same kind of metallic gold hair paint like the other head sculpt, but I don't like the forehead, and it looks like he's got buck teeth with this one. His mouth is kind of open, and so his teeth, it looks like he's got buck teeth. So I really don't like the look of this second head sculpt. The figure comes with 3 different pairs of hands, so all the right hands are wearing a glove. So it would have been nice if maybe they'd given us one right hand without a glove, since in the beginning of the movie he doesn't actually have a glove on. But as it stands, all 3 hands on the right for the right are gloved, and then the left hands are ungloved. So we get 2 closed-fisted hands. We get kind of a, I guess you could call this maybe a force waving hand for both the left and the right, and then we get a grip hand for holding the lightsaber. Again, one gloved for the right hand and one ungloved for the left hand. And then finally, he comes with his lightsaber hilt and blade. So the hilt itself has a little hole on the top, and then there's this peg that sticks out on his belt, and you just plug the lightsaber in if you want to have it like hanging off of his belt. So it doesn't actually swing or anything, but it does stay on there nice and secure. And then if you want to have the blade, if you want to ignite the lightsaber, then you actually have to remove the top piece of the lightsaber and replace it with the blade. And it just pops in, and that gives you the lighted lightsaber. And the blade on this is a much darker green than like the one for Hasbro's Black Series one. So it's a darker green than Hasbro's. So paint applications on the figure are okay. Other than, again, the hair. I don't like the gold color that they used on the hair. But the rest of the figure, the skin tones are decent. And then for the costume, it's just all black. There's no real kind of wash work or anything, but just all black. He's got kind of a glossy black for his boots. And then his belt, I will say, his belt, like, they did not paint the belt buckle. It's just solid black. Unlike on Hasbro's where they actually made it silver, so that seems like a little miss on the detail. I think that should have been silver, but otherwise the belt's just black, and you do have the little silver tabs off to the sides on each one, and then the silver tab for to hold the lightsaber, and then this little silver loop next to that. Okay, so the figure stands at just a hair under 6 inches tall. He's actually a little bit taller than the Hasbro Black Series Luke Skywalker figure. He's about the same size as the S.H.Figuarts Stormtrooper figure. And he's shorter than the S.H.Figuarts Darth Vader figure. And then just for a couple other comparisons, here he is next to Hasbro's 6-inch Han Solo figure, which Han Solo is a little bit taller. And here he is next to Hasbro's 6-inch Slave Leia figure, and he's a bit taller than Leia. Okay, so the figure has pretty good articulation. The head is on a, I wouldn't say it's a ball joint, but it's basically got a peg that comes out the bottom that's on a hinge. So that peg inside the head has some up and down movement. And then the neck itself has good movement. It can turn to the left and the right. It's got up and down movement. You can kind of pivot it to the left and the right. So overall, it gives the head a good range of motion. So he can look left, he can look right, he can look down, he can look up pretty good. He can kind of pivot his head to the left and to the right. So definitely you get a nice range of motion with the head. Now, I do want to point out with the heads on these is they actually, with the two Luke heads, they actually split apart. Now, I know on my Captain America Age of Ultron figure that has that ability where the head splits apart, but that's so you can put in, it's got the ability, it has multiple pairs of eyes, and you can pull out the eyes and stick in different eyes looking left or right. The eyes aren't removable on this one, so I don't really know what the point of having the head open up like that is, and it does kind of leave a split that you can see, when you're looking at the head sculpts from the side. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joints, so he can get his arm out good, and he's got good rotation. And then he's got that kind of inner joint, like we see with most of the S.H.Figuarts, so it gives you some extra movement there with the arm. And you've got the rotation there basically up there at the shoulder. It doesn't really have a bicep swivel per se, but he does have rotation there at the shoulder where the ball joint meets the shoulder or meets the arm. Single hinged elbow, but does have good bending at the elbow, and also has swivel at the elbow. And then the wrists are on those little pegs with the hinges, so you've got rotation, and then you've got up or down movement with the hands, or you can turn the peg so you've got left and right movement with the hands. Midsection joint attached with the ball joint, so he's got the rotation there, and he can look up pretty good. Doesn't have a whole lot of crunch with that. Has a waist swivel. The belt on this figure is a separate piece. It's not removable, but it is a separate piece. Legs are attached with ball joints, so he can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward pretty good, and he can do the leg out and back. He's got the swivel up there in the thigh as well. It's not an actual thigh swivel joint, but you do have swivel there where the leg goes up into the crotch area. Now, the knees is not double jointed knee like you typically see. It's almost like a ball joint. And he's got good bending at the knee with that, and he's got rotation there at the knee on both the top part and the lower part of the knee. So it gives you a pretty good movement there at the knee section. And like I said, I would almost call it a ball joint, but it's not a typical ball hinge joint, so I'm not sure what you call it. But again, it does give you pretty good range of motion there at the knee. And then he does have the ankle pivot, so he can do his foot down a little bit, and he can do it up, and he can pivot to the left and to the right, and he's got the rotation. And then he's also got the toe articulation on this one, so he can do his toes up and down, and no peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, that's my review. Overall, I would say this is not a bad figure, but it's not a great figure either. And for the cost, it costs, between $60 and $70 because it is an import figure. I would have to say this one's probably a pass for me. I do like the face sculpt. I do think it looks more like Mark Hamill than, say, Hasbro's 6-inch Luke Skywalker figure, but that's kind of offset by the gold paint that they used for the hair, which I really don't like. Movement on the figure, it's got good movement. Paint applications are decent, but they're not spectacular. So like I said, overall it's not a bad figure, but based on the price, I would probably say just go with the $20 Hasbro 6-inch figure. So that's my review. We'll have a full gallery of images up at JediInsider.com. There's a link in the description below. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.